Do it.
That's all it takes, 3 out of 4?
Yeah.
Mike Dempsey is with us from Jacksonville. Mike, does it feel to you that the Jaguars play the Bills every year?
It feels like we play everybody good every year because look at the record. I think we have played quite a bit in recent seasons.
A couple times in London, including 2 years ago, as Bulldog mentioned.
I had the playoff game, but that's going back 8 years. But
that's right. It was my pleasure to listen to you last night. Mike is with Jaguars Today, 1010XL in Jacksonville, also on Sirius XM with Bob Harris. Football diehards, as my connection to Mike is largely, if not entirely, through fantasy football. And here we go, Mike. I mean, imagine not drafting until late July. Can you?
Me, personally? Hell no. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm playing one league for all the marbles, like if I'm playing a big money league, I want to draft as late as possible. But, man, I want the juice all off season. You're missing out, man. People are like, why are you drafting in March? You don't know where anyone's going to play. Well, neither does anybody else. So
right.
Who's got the best instinct?
This is their time to shine, that crowd. Like Justin Fields gets hurt. And, just goes to show you, why were you drafting already? I mean, he's going to be okay, apparently.
Love that, right? They love that. They absolutely love that, right? Well, maybe somebody else in my league had Justin Fields. I will say, I probably have about 22, I think, drafts ongoing at the moment, which is about typical for this time of year. And yesterday, at one point in the afternoon after the news came out, I found myself, it was my turn to pick, which we call on the clock, of course, in 4 leagues, and I had Justin Fields in all of them. So I felt really good about myself, but I feel better today.
I enjoy the stories of the people who immediately scoop up Tyrod Taylor just because he, limped to the cart.
Right.
Just in case. Wouldn't be me. All right, Mike. Well,
we had somebody in a superflex do that to us. You start 2 quarterbacks, but I'll give them credit. It was a 16-team league. They had already drafted Fields. That seemed like a reasonable selection at that time.
How much of a stickler, Mike and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, are you for the language used in the tweets about an injury like that? Because carted off is not exactly what happened to Justin Fields. Carted off implies the cart came onto the field of play because he couldn't be moved and, immobilized and all that sort of stuff. And really this was, the locker room's way over there and we'll drive you more than carted off.
Yeah, carted off indicates you're riding backwards.
Right.
Right? Like at best you're sitting on the back of the cart. Perhaps you're laying down on it. Not that you hopped in the front seat. But, either way, and look, I get it. When you have a lower body injury, you can't tell if it's a non-contact issue or not. People are going to freak out and panic a little bit. And, whatever you think about Justin Fields, the Jets have invested $40 million over the next 2 years in hoping that they can squeeze something out of him, with Aaron Glenn hopefully leading a revived defense in New York. If Fields can protect the football, from a fantasy standpoint, he's a very intriguing player. He stuffs the box score because he runs quite a bit. We all know that's the kind of the cheat code in fantasy football.
With Mike Dempsey, Mike, the Jaguars have been a pretty hot team this year in fantasy talk. And Travis Hunter obviously has a lot to do with that. What an exciting move and draft pick. What are your expectations there, and what do you think of where he's going?
I'm probably not drafting him where he's going right now. Like I looked at the Fantasy Pros yesterday, I believe, and it might be their consensus expert rankings. It might not have been average draft position, but they had him at wide receiver 32. And that's a little too rich for my blood in a 12-team league because I think there's going to be some week in, week out inconsistency. We don't know. I don't know if they know exactly how much they're going to be able to go all out playing him, 100 snaps or more. But I do think that is their desire. They want to get him up around 100 snaps a game. I think they think he can manage that. Will that all happen this year? Will it all happen on the offensive side? Like if you're in a dynasty league, particularly if you're in one of those leagues, guys, as you well know, that allows for individual defensive player scoring, he's almost like a cheat code, right? And, maybe, and again, it's more of a long-term play there. As a mid-wide receiver 3 in a 12-team league, that is, I don't know. This is a team that wants to run the football a bunch. They have Brian Thomas who's going in the first round, and I think that's justified based on his rookie season, the end of the first round. I honestly think De'Ami Brown is a much better fantasy dart throw just because you get him basically free. If you're in a 16-round draft, you can wait till your final round, grab him there. He's going to be on the field just about as much, if not as much, as Travis Hunter this year. I think Hunter is a phenomenal story. He's going to be great to watch. He will have his highlight reel days, but I'm just not spending the third wide receiver draft capital that it takes to get him in many redraft leagues.
Yeah, I wonder just how much of the talk that the team is even putting out there about using him both ways is any amount of smoke. I mean, I just, it's been so long since we've had a player that was capable of doing that. And I recognize that he was certainly capable, more than capable. He was great at doing that in college. I just wonder, once you're paying a guy and he shows you value on either side of the ball, like the risk you run in exposing him on the other side of the ball, I just think is, I just think that could get really tricky.
Well, what is he better at, in your opinion?
Man, I respect offense more. I think like that is where I think the value is.
I think if you gave him the full year to be nothing but a wide receiver, the full year to be nothing but a defensive back, he'd be a better defensive back than he would a wide receiver. Even though he won the Biletnikoff Award, I think he did. I don't think his route tree was that complex in college. He's got phenomenal hands. I mean, he'll pluck the ball, but he uses those to great effect on both sides. Look, I don't think they gave what they gave to move up, just a handful of spots to get him, unless that is fully their intent. I just think this is a new, crazy young regime that's like, look, man, we're not going to look back in 4 years and say, why didn't we do it our way? And they're going to go with their chest out, and they're going to spend 2 first-rounders and a second to draft Travis Hunter. And I think they're going to give him that opportunity. Now, will it change maybe, in week 2 when you play against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? Does he play more 95% on the defensive side and maybe 30% on the offensive side? That's possible. We're in uncharted territory, but I don't believe they're blowing smoke. I mean, you'd find out after the first month of the season, what's the point of hyping it up and giving up all those assets? I think they truly want to give him the opportunity to prove the world wrong, or that he can do it.
Yeah, it's the matchup point you just made that I've been thinking about a lot too. Like, it could be different every week, and in redraft where you set lineups, that's a headache. If you don't know what you're getting, right? Like, if I'm Cincinnati, I heard Mario Puig make this point from RotoWire. Why wouldn't I just try to run him down the field constantly? If he's going to,
what if he's starting? So if he's starting Jamar Chase,
yeah,
you're just going to go routes with Jamar Chase all day.
Well, it doesn't have to be Chase, but
Well, what if that's who he's guarding? You don't get to pick who he guards.
Right.
So I just think that is such an oversimplification. Travis Kelce said that. I mean, it's just like I just roll my eyes at that. You don't know if they are going to be in zone. If you're in zone and he gives somebody up to the safety, who are you running deep? The safety, right? I just think that idea that they're going to outrun a guy who played at a mile-high altitude playing like 120 snaps a game, that you're going to wear him down. I don't believe that. I think that the injury concern, it comes from an acute injury. Does he have too much contact? He's not a big frame. Does he get trucked by Derrick Henry? It's not the conditioning aspect. I think he's going to blow people's minds with the conditioning aspect. You can't talk to a teammate of his. I've been out to every practice that's been open to the media since he got here, and they all rave about this guy never gets tired. His other guys are taking a knee and a break in between periods. He's out there finding the defensive coordinator, taking reps and doing things. I mean, we'll find out, right? Yeah. I mean, it's all happy talk now. And maybe it'll be a colossal failure, but it'll be a fun one to watch.
Mike, before we move off of the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence on another new coach. I mean, it'd be wrong to say make or break. I mean, there's a huge investment there financially, right. So he's going to get some runway here. But, man, it's got to be like time to make that really work, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, Liam Cohen, as the offensive coordinator, take Baker Mayfield to heights he had never reached. And he had been a good quarterback, but never been what he was last year with 41 touchdowns. I think his career high was 28. Before that, I think Trevor's is 25. We're only asking to get him into the 30s, right? I don't need 41 in the first year of Liam Cohen, but absolutely. Look, he's got to show improvement this year, but you're right. This is not make or break. They're pot committed to him. And they knew that, Liam Cohen did, when he came to Jacksonville, when he signed that contract. So I think he's got a couple of years, and I do think Liam Cohen, if he can grasp it mentally, if Trevor can grasp everything he's asking of him, the offense is shown to get guys open, and they had tremendous success throwing the ball and running the ball, and that's a big part of it. Are you going to provide him a good ground game? And if you can and take some pressure off him, I think the weapons are there for Trevor to have the best season he's had so far as a pro.
With Mike Dempsey, the Jaguars' backfield is a good topic, too. One of the better ones, I would say, this offseason. What's your guess as to how they play it with ETN, Tank Bigsby, and now Bashal Tutin?
Well, I'll put it this way. Every time I'm in a draft and somebody takes ETN in the, say, 8th round, 9th round, I smile and I sit back and I try to go back-to-back in like the 11th, 12th, and I take them both. I take Bigsby and I take Tutin. And it's kind of a field thing based on where their ADP is and where they are in the queue. I do think Tutin has the chance to have the Bucky Irving-type impact in the second half of the year. I mean, this guy is – he can do it all. He can run you over, he can make you miss, and he can outrun you. He can do all those things. And look, this team, if they didn't trade up to get Hunter, they would have taken Ashton Genty at 5. You can't find anyone in Jacksonville that's not convinced of that. Had R.J. Harvey fallen to 70, they would have taken him there. We found that out after the draft. And as soon as he went at 60, they moved back. So they were looking to flip this depth chart a little bit. Tank Bigsby's been operating as the first guy on the field so far in training camp. But Travis Etienne's right behind him. They're kind of operating as co-ones, but it's not like Brian Thomas is not on the field for that first rep. Bigsby has looked fantastic. I think he's a great value there, but I want equal shares of Bigsby and Tutin because Tutin could take things over. I think the ideal scenario for the Jags is that they feel like the backs they have, which includes Kent Allen, who they got out of Syracuse. You guys should know him pretty well up there, right? He can pass protect. Can they protect the quarterback, and can they catch the football, and can they hang on to the football? If they're confident in the abilities of Bigsby, Tutin, and Allen to handle those jobs, I think ETN is available if a team comes calling for a veteran. They're not going to just cut him because he's on the hook for $5 million plus guaranteed, but I think that would be the best scenario for everybody for fantasy-wise if ETN ends up on another team in the next 6 weeks. And let's say he doesn't, and he's on his 5th-year option. I don't think the team's going to commit to him after this year. And you're halfway through the season, and the Jags' record is 2-6. Okay, what's your incentive to keep giving the ball to Travis Etienne? Obviously, to try to win games, but I think they want to find out what the young trio has. If I had to bet on one guy today, it's probably Bigsby because I think he'll get an opportunity ahead of Tutin. But I like them both more than I like Etienne.